Let's take apart the Marcato 8320 Atlas pasta machine to give it a good clean. Start by using a Phillips screwdriver to take the first screw out on the right side of the machine. Now I'll flip the machine over and we're going to need a torque screwdriver to undo the bottom screws. If you don't have one of these, I have this kit linked on my Amazon shop under the polymer clay category. I'm only going to take out one of the screws and then loosen the other one. This is still on the right side of the machine where the handle attaches. Now this ended up being a little too tricky for me, and so I needed to grab a wrench to help me get the torque I needed to get these screws out. And then just remember to loosen the other screw, but do not take it out all the way. This is going to give you a little bit more control when taking apart the side panel to keep the machine together so you don't have a huge problem putting everything back together after you clean it. Now I will take a 10mm wrench and undo the hex nuts on both sides. The next part can get a little tricky, but I'm going to walk you through each step. I'm going to take off these spacer tubes and I'm not going to add them back onto the machine. I'm going to remove both blades on both sides of the rollers, and I'm going to remove these spacers, and I'm not going to put them back on the machine, but we will need them to put the machine back together. I'm also taking off both case coverings, and I will not be adding them back onto the machine. This makes it easier to put it back together, but also gives you more visibility on your machine while using it with clay. Now on this model, the blades are actually a plastic. I don't need to use any harsh solvents to clean the clay off with the blades. As you can see, there is a ton of clay buildup showing why we need to take it apart to clean it every so often. I start by removing the clay by hand. You can use a tool to do this, just make sure not to scratch the plastic. Once I've removed the bulk of the clay, I'm going to use a fragrance-free baby wipe to finish cleaning any leftover residue. Once I finish cleaning the blades completely, I can move on to the rest of the machine, which I will wipe down with a baby wipe. I just ensure that I dry it immediately after wiping it. You don't want moisture sitting on any parts of the metal for too long. While moving your machine around to clean it, do your best to keep the left side of the machine in place. It's time to reassemble the machine. This part can be a bit of a balancing act. I start by feeding the two bars on the top through the holes and threading the nut on just a little bit, not all the way. To reattach the blades, we'll need to take the bar that came off with it, place it in the groove in the back of the blades, line it up with the matching slots, press in the sides of the machine until it's balancing between both of the slots. If it's falling out too easily, you may need to tighten the nuts a little bit more. Then you will repeat this on the other side with the opposite blade. There should be just enough wiggle room to be able to slide it in. Now we are ready to tighten both nuts on each side. Now this part is very important. Those spacer tubes that we took off, we will need to use to measure the width to tighten these nuts to. You should be able to slide the spacer flush between both sides of the machine. If it is tightened too much, your machine will not work properly. Place the side cover back on, tighten both of the screws on the bottom and the last screw on the side. And we are all set to use our clean clay machine.